The cat's all ears again. And eyes. And coiled muscles. But even a caracal fails sometimes. The coming darkness is the caracal's ally, and there are many hours left to try to secure a meal. Black eagles aren't the only big, elegant birds soaring among these cliffs. Much more common are the Cape griffon vultures, which start the day by soaking up the morning sun. They nest in colonies, and their chicks grow up in noisy playgroups. And even when they're adults, they still hang around together, going every day to bask in places where vultures have basked for millions of years. For the eagles at the gorge, something's happening that's never been known to happen before. A black eagle chick is starting to hatch, while its 3-month-older sibling watches from the nest above. The shell is finally broken. The chick is wet, and before it can eat anything, it'll have to dry out and fluff up. But there it is. A black eagle chick hatched in the heat of summer before its older sibling, a little higher up the same cliff, hasn't even left the nest. The juvenile is, of course, oblivious to the event, his attention drawn to swifts darting to and from their nests. For Quatele, the sight of the chick triggers a change in his behavior. In an unprecedented move, he attacks his own offspring. Emuyeni puts a stop to his aggression, but he's still agitated. Not only must she protect her chick, but also her chick's food. There's always a chance Quatele might take it. He strikes again. But with a newly hatched chick alone in the blistering sun, Quatele is forced back to the lower nest. Her juvenile safe from further attack, Emuyeni takes the prey to the lower nest, leaving the bewildered juvenile to regain his composure. The chick gets its first meal. His father's drastic change of attitude has had at least one useful effect on the juvenile. Fledging has become a matter of priority. And he suddenly makes his first awkward flight. And his first clumsy landing. He's now at the equivalent of his toddling stage, when he's learning what his wings can do. This should last a few months, with his parents looking after him, feeding him, and showing him how to hunt. But instead, for 3 days they leave him on his own, learning the tricks of the wind. While Emuyeni and Quatele concentrate on the newcomer in the lower nest, and on the other egg, which is now holed, and on the verge of hatching. So, on the 3rd day, with the second chick about to hatch, the juvenile is soaring over the gorge. when again Quatele turns on his offspring. This is a father that should be teaching his fledgling how to hunt, how to fly, how to eat. Instead, Quatele seems intent on driving him away. The possibility of an injured bird seems to interest the caracal, who watches the struggle intently. For the juvenile, it's the aerial equivalent of sink or swim. In trying to dodge Quatele, he displays flying skills far beyond his age. Then, Emoyeni leaves the chick and the unhatched egg, and this time, instead of defending the juvenile, mimics her mate's behavior. The chick is left to swelter in the sun. And not so many months ago, this was a chick. Emoyeni and Quatele hunted for him, fed him, shaded him, kept his nest fresh, and brought him up to fledging. He's a fine young eagle. And now they're doing this. Unless it's just muddled instincts, it would be hard to say exactly why. A juvenile that hasn't been taught to hunt would seem a lot less threatening to the chick than, for instance, the hot sunshine. The juvenile is finally forced to land, while the caracal watches. The one thing the young bird has yet to appreciate are the specifics of the world's dangers. As soon as the juvenile launches again, Quatele is after him, although there's at least an uncharacteristic attempt to strike back. And Emoyeni returns at last to make some shade. Finally, the juvenile takes the hint and leaves the gorge, the only world he knows. After traveling about 2 kilometers, he lands in a strange place. He's on his own now, an outcast. Unless his parents feed him, he won't eat. Unless they protect him, he will be vulnerable to predators. Evening sets in. The male widow bird displays his tail as the caracal begins the night's hunt. The widow bird sounds the alarm. The guinea fowl react without knowing what or where the danger is. The night passes. And the griffin vultures bring in the dawn. And at the gorge, what the dawn has brought is another new black eagle chick. The second egg cracked during the night, and Emoyeni now gives the new chick its first meal. The hatching of the second chick coincides with the breeding of other birds in the gorge. A rock pigeon, for example, dispensing her crop milk. The new chick means a lot more work for Quatele, and more time spent searching the cliffs and crevices for food to feed his expanded family.